all kinds of divers. So we went in and were there for about 40 minutes before they could get people and trucks to come and pull us out. And the third day, I wrote my master's, my comprehensive master's of automation. So the track can go on. And after my ordination, with all that I've gone through, I was weak and feeble. So I was sent to the provincial house to be the community superior and stay. And at that time, it was already earmarked that if someone picked up his health, he would go to US to go and study, to come back to the philosophy. That is how I found myself in the States. A village boy, not hoping, come to US. I was afraid. I was panicking. How will I cope? And all that. My first time to be in an aeroplane, and it was kind of weird. But I had to psych myself. And I always remember the 3 times my father told me, Samuel, I am a spider, and you are the son of a spider. 1. 2, don't fear to think, and never allow anybody to intimidate you. That was the second thing. And the third thing my father told me was, I remember that you are a son of an elephant, and the baby elephant does not need to struggle to become big. These were the things my father told me when I journeyed through my life, and that has been the driving force. I came into the US on the 26th of January 2011. I landed at San Francisco. I was the most confused person. Went back to the Dominican School of Philosophy. I began, was it 3 days, I was in the lecture hall. For 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I would go to the lectures, I couldn't take anything. The way they speak so fast, so near, and I was trying to run away from the people, and that kind of, you can imagine what I had, there was no orientation at all. So I had to devote myself to, they gave me 2.5 to 3 years for my master's. Before I knew, on the 8th month, I had finished all my coursework for my master's to graduate, and they said that was impossible. Because when I came within that 8 months, I spent my life on the library, lecture hall, and my room. No friends, nothing. And among other things, I couldn't eat because you go to the dining table, there is so much to eat, so much to drink. There were alternatives. And I couldn't imagine, because I always think of my mom and my dad, how would they eat? So I ended up not eating. So all these things affected me in the initial stage so much. No fun. And then my hand, this finger got swollen, and then that was taken to Kaiser, and then they said it is what they call carpal tunnel or tendinitis. And then I asked the doctor to explain. He said, because I have exerted a lot of pressure on the computer, I wasn't used to computer and all that. I said, oh, I have done hard jobs, so even if it is only the computer, I'll work on it. So I went back home and I used sponge and tied my hand for 2 days, and the diabetes, the whole sickness and the pain vanished. I have a good and African way of handling my own problems. So the Dominicans made life difficult for me because I finished my master's so quick, and I didn't get the time to enjoy relationship and all that. And what they didn't also know that back in Nigeria, all through my primary school to senior high school, I read with lantern, no electricity. And here I have 24 hours electricity. I don't go out, and you can borrow books from the library. So that was a whole world which they never knew. And then I couldn't separate my day from my night. Because when it is night here, it is day in Ghana. When it is day, it is in that order. So my day and night, I was not sleeping. So they all catch up with me, and my body became dead. But the doctor had to fix me and all that stuff. Anyway, I ended up going to San Francisco Theological Seminary after graduation to do my Doctor of Ministry. At the moment, I'm at the candidacy stage. Almost finishing. And then I needed a fund because the doctor told me, you are too young, you have to have a fund. And I said, what is the content of a fund like? She laughed, let's go out. So I said, okay, in order to have a fund, I'll go to the hospital to do visitation. So I go to the hospital, I pray for the sick, and people were getting to know me, and that was where I met Dr. Navera Crowley. And after meeting Dr. Navera Crowley, and she observed me for some time, and we had opportunity to talk briefly. And I said, yeah, I want to study philosophy. This is where I'm thinking. And she said, have you heard about CIIS? And I said, what is it? She said, go online and listening to you can work well with Robert McDaniel. So I went back, and throughout the night I didn't sleep. I read almost everything online about Prof. As far as I could know. Read a lot about CIIS, and I was so fascinated. The following morning I wrote to David Towns that I want to come and then do a lot of disability studies and all that. And then she agreed. So that's how I found myself in the CIIS. So my journey is still a journey of evolving. I'm learning to discern from my head to my heart. I'm learning to disengage in order to engage. I'm at the point of discovering in order to recover. So I have my own lapses, my own fears. I'm so fragile. When it comes to the Catholic Church, as a priest, I'm coached and I can do what, but when I return to my inner recesses of my life, I have my own way of handling it all. So this is a little piece of something.
Not like the others. A little different.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Wow.
I mean, just a comment, that's probably one of the hardest lives I've ever heard of. You know, so much happened, and I just kept feeling my heart going out to you.
Why do you think that you have so many bad experiences?
Yeah, I'm yet to really understand. At the point as I was reflecting this morning, you know, I see myself as a thread. Thread is very weak and feeble, but thread can seal every patch of a tongue growth. But in order for the thread to function, it needs a needle. So something must lead, and I have to follow. So I'm beginning to understand that which leads me all through may be my karma. And I'm the one hiding as a thread following. So my karma then becomes a needle, and my experiences become a thread. And you know, the thread is always, there's a container that holds the thread. When you take away those threads from that container and then you place the container on it, the container can grow and you can't stop it until it wants to stop by itself. So I'm in the process of rolling, and I've not really landed. I don't know what lies ahead of me, and I don't know where I'm going. But in the CIS, I hope to embody the ideas of Jesus and make meaning for myself in order to get back to Africa, do meditation with young people that have also gone to
Okay.
I just wanted to follow so much. Like, I feel like you were what I just said. I could, take any of that, the suffering that you've had away from you. Samuel. It's hard to hear that you've had so much pain. But about the death, I wonder, because you've gone so toward the divinity, and how you feel that your close calls with death and have kind of in a way informed your closeness with the divine, with God, and you feel that you've come closer to the divine because you've almost like broken down attachment to this life in a lot of ways, it would seem to me.
Personally, I always feel that I won't live long.
Say the last word, you feel that?
I will never live long. I will die early. And that is, I have that feeling. So I always live my life as if I will die the next moment. So I don't really feel that. Because thinking through what I have gone through in life, you know, I don't really, I think where I'm 37 years, born on the 14th June 1976, Tuesday. So with this 37 years, it's so short, but so much in it. And then with my own near-death experiences that I have gone through, and then the number of death cases I have handled. For instance, when I was doing my pastoral work, I needed to go to a morgue to help a family to bring a dead body. And because I was in my white gown as a priest, and the family was delaying over 250 bodies that they retrieved from the body. Every family will retrieve their dead body, they will bring the dead body. Father, can you pray for the body? Can you pray for the soul? And I spent over 4 hours standing dealing with dead bodies. So I have had contact with dead bodies and all that. So at the moment I don't just want to think about it. I just can't do the day. Because I have a time I have to throw up and fall sick and all that. I have to listen to all this movement. So I know that one day will come. I see it as an unwelcome friend, but then I don't fear it based upon what Augustine said, that he said that death is when I am not, and I am when death is not. So why must I fear that when it is not when I am? So that really filters through my own teeth when it comes to death. Ready?